All right, education. Let's take a listen to that. So, Ms. Molina, what are some of the challenges that the Texas State Teachers Association will be facing on the horizon?
Thank you very much for the question. And you are in this room because you know what we're facing. As a good educator, I did my homework and I was like, let me write it all down. Let me print it out. Let me get this going. But if you go to tsta.org, you will get all the information. When we knew that there was a $30 billion plus surplus, we were very hopeful that our students and our educators were going to be taken care of by the state. Hopeful, right? I mean, how, with that amount of money, could they still do nothing for our students? Apparently it was. So, we're still fighting for school safety, the book bans, the expansion of charter schools, virtual schools, because that's now going to be a way for them to start expanding more into getting our kids away from certified, dedicated educators who go to school to ensure that they have the best education possible. Our accountability ratings for our schools. They're coming out and they're doing something that we didn't know was going to happen. It's just one more thing for our educators. What we're currently fighting at this moment is our school boards, and if you have not been to a school board meeting, please go to our school board meetings. They are taking a vote to see if chaplains can be the counselors in our schools right now. That means that religion is going to come and try to counsel our students. And it's not just that we're letting religion in when we're supposed to have a separation of state and religion, but it's also, again, telling our educators that your job isn't a professional job. Anybody can do it. As a matter of fact, we're going to get somebody from our churches to come do our counselor's job. They don't know what educators do. They don't know what educators do. And so our job, our biggest fight is for us to be treated as professionals, for us to be paid what we should be paid. Because educators are holding on, and some are not even holding on. They just couldn't take it. And it's not a problem for our students here now, but it's a problem for the future students, because we're not going to have educators, we're not going to have certified people who know how to teach our children and how to ensure that they get the best education possible. We're going to lose out on people coming into the profession. And so it's a big problem that we need everybody to show up and vote education first. Vote education first every single time. We also have an app. It's our TSDA app, and it will give you alerts on education issues. Please download the app so that you get those alerts, because we need your voice. We educators have been saying that we need help and we need to be listened to, but guess what? They listen to community members before they listen to educators, so we need your voice in our fight.
Thank you, Ms. Molina. Thank you very much. All right, our next question, and this is to Ms. Ovidia. We have partisan Republican groups recruiting, funding, and endorsing school board and city council candidates to advocate for an extreme agenda. What is TSTA's strategy to address this nationally funded influence in our local elections?
So we have surveys that go out to our candidates, and just like at the state level, when we're endorsing, there are some people that don't want to turn in our surveys. I wonder why, right? But that aside, our local leaders are very instrumental for making sure that we have the candidates that are pro-public education, supported, endorsed, and then we work for them at the local level. Now, I want to repeat what I just said because they're running for school board at a public school district. And we have to ask them if they're pro-public schools. And I will tell you, they're not embarrassed, ashamed to not come to our forums, to not say that they are pro-public schools. It's just ridiculous where we are. So what we are doing is making sure that we're working for those pro-public education candidates, calling out the people that are not pro-public education, working with our communities to ensure that we get out the vote. And that's where we need you as well to get out the vote when it comes to your school board races. So as was mentioned before, when you go home and you talk to that person that was here and the people that were not, don't just say, this is what we need to do. When it comes time for that election, we need you to call them up and say, hey, when do you want me to pick you up? I need to pick you up because we don't want the crazies to take over our school board. We don't want the crazies to mess up the future of our students, our community. I am fortunate that I have great reps and that I live in Hayes, and we have the Hayes Educators Association. They are very active. But we know that we are a blue dot in a state that has many red ones. And so we need to make sure that when we're talking to our community members here, we talk to our families, and I know that we have families that aren't thinking right now, that are not voting right because of either the people that they live around. But we need to make sure that we continue to speak up for what we believe and let them know, especially if you know an educator, please have them talk to your friends. Have them talk to your community groups. Have them come out and share the amazing work that they do in our schools and how much more work we could do for our students if we had the funding, if we didn't have to take the money out of our pockets, if we didn't have to work 2 or 3 or 4 jobs to ensure that we stay in education. Really tell the story about what our educators are doing and who our students are to make those people ashamed of not supporting us. I need you to make sure that you get as many people to the vote education first, but also support your schools. Even if you don't have a student in your schools, it's in your community. It has to do with you. We need your support at every level. But vote, 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 education first.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. One more question we have, and this goes